Okay, number 17. Assume that P represents a true statement, Q is true, and R is false. Okay, P is true, Q is true, and R, hey, R represents a false statement. Okay, so R becomes an F, and then you have your if-then, and then your negation. P is a true, and then this is an or, and then Q is true. All right. So all I did was take out the 3 variables and stick in F's or T's. And this type of problem is like just practicing one row of an entire truth table. Like, what if these were just, you know, the one row of true, true, and false? Okay, where do we begin? Okay, we're going to start in the parentheses, and we're going to start with this guy. So if F, then if you negate the T, that is going to become a false. Next, I'm going to do this to finish up what's in the parentheses. So if F, then if you take false or true, that will be a true. And now we're down to our last calculation, which is if false, then true. If false, then true. That is always a true. Hopefully you can remember these things, but if not, you have your handy dandy handout. You can always look over at that to refresh your memory and make sure you got it. All right, so that's 17, and then 18 wants you to construct a truth table for the statement. This one is just 2 variables, P and Q. So they're either both true, the first is true and the second is false, or the first is false and the second is true, or they're both false. And then our statement is if P, then the negation of Q. And this is a small one. I just need a column for P, a column for the if-then, and a column for the negation of Q. And I always start by looking for anything that I can copy from this, what I just wrote down there, the P's and Q's. I have one P, and that is true, true, false, false. And now I'm going to do the negation of Q. To get this column, I just have to come over here and negate the column that's labeled Q, which is true, false, true, false. So everything switches. False, true, false, true. And then the last step is, there's only 2 steps in this one, the if-thens. And then you have to remember, on an if-then, the only time you get a false on an if-then is right here. If true, then false, that's a false. If true, then true is true. If false, then false is true. And if false, then true is true. And that's my truth table for that. Okay.